Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Still 35 Cents. Trying to get the camera to focus. Don't know what's going on with it, but we'll give it a second. I'm just going to move this screen. Good morning, and how is everyone today? It's great to have you on Still Only 35 Cents, Merry Monday Mailcall Show. And if I can just get this camera to focus, is that better? Oh, it's just a little bit of a nightmare today. Let me just see if I can get this to work. May have to restart the stream if this doesn't happen. Let's zoom in on me. Is that working? Let's see. There you go. Much better. Hello again, and welcome to Still Only 35 Cents. This is the Merry Monday Mailcall Show. It's great to have you with us. Busy week this week. We've had a few videos. We had an X-Men live unboxing of some Panini stickers from 1980. If you didn't catch that live stream, you would have loved it. It was a lot of fun. I have almost collected the series. I think I'm 20 short from that rip of 34 packs. So if you get a chance to check that out. We also just posted a video about my recent CGC fail and great CGC unboxing. It was a bittersweet. Great grades from most of those books, which were Marvel UK, Mighty World of Marvel. So the first title that Marvel UK published in the UK, and I had a little bit of history about that, but also we had an amazing CGC era. So again, if you haven't caught that video, please check it out today. And then on top of that, we did announce memberships. We have now another new member that joined this week, Deadman Comic Cover Show. So he will be joining the price variance. Now let me bring that up for you all so that you can get a glimpse of what we do for our price variance. So as you can see here, we support the Hero Initiative with all memberships and super chats. So for $2.99 a month US, you get access to members only videos and live streams. We will be doing the bullpen interview series will be going behind the members paywall. So essentially we're going to be interviewing creators, and if you want to see those videos, please join the price variance. As I say, all monies will go to the Hero Initiative. So I thought that was a good way to give back to those creators that we frankly love, and it's they've done a lot for us in terms of the creativity of some of these comic books. So I thought it would be a good way to give back. We just launched one with Roy Thomas. So again, if you haven't already, and if you can afford it and would like to join the price variance, you get access to videos like that one we just did with Roy Thomas. And then coming soon, we will have Back to the Drawing Board, which will be a live sketching show where the idea is that we will open it up to the chat, run a giveaway. Someone will give their favorite character, and I'll draw that character live on the show. We're hopefully going to invite other members to that as well. Wanted to give a special thanks out to the inaugural members. So we had Simple Simon, Brian LCS, Mad Spidey, and Deadman Comic Cover Show just joined this week. So thank you all for that, and look forward to more content. Let's get rid of this, and let me quickly bring up the chat and see who's in the room. So we have, of course, Vincent is here. Good to see you, Vincent. It's great to have you on the show with us. And Belle checking in for the show. Great to see you too. Right, with that, I might get back or into the books. I've sort of done a little bit of play around this week and managed to get the setup working a little bit better than it was over the last couple of weeks. So I wanted to crack open. Let's have a look first. Let's crack open the overhead view and bring that up to the stage. It's looking a little better, as you can see already. And we'll bring up the normal view, and I'll shift this across. Now, as mentioned in the actual thumbnail, you would have seen we've been focusing on Doctor Doom. So I have a few books that I picked up recently from a UK auction, which is the full series of the Doctor Doom, recent Doctor Doom series by Christopher Cantwell and Salvador LaRocca. As you can see here, it's a full set. And in addition to that, it included this variant of Doom, that one shot by Jonathan Hickman. So we'll be going through that. I've also got some modern pickups. And then I've got a little bit of a cautionary tale in terms of comic collecting, or my type of comic collecting. I have a lot that I bought from from the UK. And unfortunately for me, weren't as high grade as I thought they were. I thought there might be a few little nuggets and treasure in there. I'll take you through it, but it is a sort of cautionary tale that sometimes, as I say, sometimes I get hits and I do really well. Sometimes not so much. Still good books, but not to the sort of grade level I would like. But it is still a nice thing to share with you. And there are some keys in there, just not that sort of high grade that I was looking for. But it'd be good to get your sense from you on the stream today. And then also, we may do a giveaway of some of these books. As I say, some people may want them because, albeit they're not in high grade, they're still great books nevertheless. And then we have this pile of my current pull list, which I wanted to share with you as well. So as you can see here, we have Absolute Superman. So let's get started with that, and we'll go through the books. I'll just check the chat again. We do have a couple of other fantastic people in the chat as well. We've got John. How are you, JSS Brooklyn? Great to see you. And artist extraordinaire, Locke. I hope you're well, mate. I saw your message on Insta. Thoughts are with you and hope all things are good. But yeah, great to have you, mate. And hopefully we'll get you on the Back to the Drawing Board show. I'd love to see or have you on that show, given your great work. And if you haven't already, please check out Mad Monkey Love on Instagram. That's Locke's Instagram page, where he has some absolutely great pieces of work. So by all means, check that out. So let's get into it. So obviously you've seen over the last few shows that I've been picking up the Absolute series. So I've actually decided that I'll get the whole lot across all the three, and maybe even spread out into, I think there's a Martian Manhunter one and the Flash, and see how they go. I do have a copy of All In Special here as well, which I covered in a previous show. And there was an interesting point made on Bronze and Modern Gods, John and Richard, where they were lamenting the fact that this came out first and is actually the true first, if you think about it, is actually the true first appearance of Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, and Absolute Superman. So this realistically should be the book that everyone's specking on. So it sort of gave me some thought this week. Is like, should I go out? And there's so many of these still on the shelves. Whether they ordered too many of them or printed those early on, this to me is the book that realistically should be the key books. Obviously, first in title is still important, but this is the first appearance of all three of those characters. So not sure why that one's not picking up the spec. But yes, I have copies of that. But yeah, picked up Absolute Superman. Have yet to read it in detail. I've sort of skimmed through it. Do like the new look of the Absolute Superman. Again, not too sure in terms of the reinvention, but happy to have a nice DC book to read in the collection. It's just great to see DC really reinventing themselves. So fantastic there. Let me just check who else we have in the chat. Heroes for Hire Comic Club. Hello there. How are you? It's really good to see you too. Welcome to the show. We have Avengers versus Aliens. $7.99 is, I'm not sure what they're doing. I mean, for the price compared to others, it's the print stock is not that amazing. I mean, maybe Isaac Ribic is an expensive artist, and so there they have to push the price up. But nevertheless, I'm going to be completing this mini-series run. It's quite interesting seeing where this is going at the moment. And it's nice to see them make use of the two IPs in that manner. I also picked up this beautiful foil of the logo foil of Absolute Superman. I'm going to be getting, I've got the DC All-In one. I do have the Wonder Woman one, and now the Superman one. Last one to get is obviously the Batman, the absolute Batman foil. But I thought it would be an interesting one to grab these, put them in some clear, those clear plastic Mylars that you can see the back, and have the full set of those. I think they're a really nice touch. The only other one I want to get is the blank variant for All-In. I think it's a second printing, which has the DC logo faded in the back, so that I'll be able to get some character sketches. But yeah, I'm enjoying Absolute so far. Not entirely sure. I think the character designs are fantastic. Just not exceptionally taken by some of the backstory. I think Batman as a town planner is a little bad. Heroes for Hire Comic Club. The price is rough, but the story is good. I agree. Yeah, the Alien versus Predator, Alien versus Avengers story is pretty good, and I think as well with that art, it's doing really well. So let's see how we go. I know that people, when this came out, the issue 2, the secondary market for issue 1 went up a little bit. So demand for issue 1 went up if you read or watch the Key Collector app. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I just think that price is just a little bit. When will we get to a $10 comic book for a normal price? It's getting to that point somewhat. So that's what worries me about the pricing is if we get to sort of like $10, it becomes, it really is then a specialist piece. It's not something you can buy like we did back in the day when they were like 35 cents. Next up, I've been looking at Image's take on Universal Monsters. So I'm trying to sort of pick those up as they go. I did get a pickup at the Brisbane Supernova show this last week, and there'll be a video on that coming soon. But yeah, I saw this in my local comic shop, All Star Comics here in Melbourne. It was the one single lone copy sitting there, issue 2 of Creature from the Black Lagoon Lives. So yeah, I'll be picking up. I think I'll get the whole Monster series, given that everyone should know my penchant for all things Universal Monsters. As I say, want to get the Dracula and Frankenstein one. We'll see what else comes. And then speaking of horror, obviously still continuing. I love this cover, by the way. Werewolf by Night number 4. Not sure how long this is going to run, this series, but I think. Love the fact that they're keeping the old traditional trade dress. They're doing these wonderful covers, and the fact that you get Jack Russell, Werewolf by Night, alongside I can't remember her name. Escapes me now. Chat, help me out here. Bloodstone, Elsa Bloodstone. There you go. I remembered. Not so much of a comic fan if I can't remember that. So yeah, great to see those. So that's my weekly pickups from the list this week. Obviously, we'll have more. Our DC delivery was late, so Absolute Batman didn't arrive in time for the show. So I'll go and pick that up this week when I go into the office. I think the appearances in All-In special I consider cameo first appearances because the characters don't speak. True, but even so, it's still, they're featured on the cover, they're in the book, and yes, they are cameos, they don't speak. Still, I think spec money for me would be on that, especially if there's lots of copies still around and you haven't already picked up this book. It is a great story, and I think actually tells the whole story about why the Absolute Universe exists in the first place. So a great book. Anyway, all right, let's move this to one side and let's talk about Doom, because as I saw this on a UK auction. It wasn't super expensive. Knew it was this full set of this Christopher Cantwell Doctor Doom series, and there's some great covers on this. So we'll go through this. But what I didn't know, or what I realized afterwards, was that they'd thrown in this variant of the Jonathan Hickman series, the one that was firing up in terms of price a few months ago. So let's go through these covers. Always liked this first issue cover. Great Doctor Doom mask. I do have another copy of this one already. So this one may go into the giveaway at some point, but it's a fantastic cover. Really like it. I think this one's pretty reasonably pricey at the moment, especially given the news with our man Robert Downey Jr. taking on the role. I just hope that we maintain Doctor Doom as with his mask and we don't fall into the trap of showing Robert Downey Jr.'s face. But I can't imagine that they will not do that, given they'll want to have some form of massive reveal. Let's just see. All in also is the death of Darkseid's son Calabac. Yep. And I probably did not spell his name correctly. That's all good. That's all good. I ended up with cover B, cardstock version of All In. I haven't seen that. I need to check that one out, Belle. As I say, there's quite a number of them still on the shelf, so if you can grab them, get them while you can. Another great Doctor Doom cover for issue 2 with some multicolored Kirby crackle in the background. And again, so as I say, these covers were pretty impressive in this series, and I think it's a slightly underrated. I'm looking forward to going back and reading the whole set. Obviously read the first issue, but haven't had a chance to go through these all as yet. Great Mephisto cover there with Doom. Again, not a great size of Doom, but is an impressive image of Mephisto there. Another good, excellent looking Doctor Doom cover there. And again, great for this run. You really get to, the artist went to work in terms of creating these images. Look at that. Doctor Doom with his full magic. Now Sorcerer Supreme in the Marvel universe, not the cinematic universe, but in the Marvel universe. So interesting to see how that plays out. This one is particularly poignant given where we are in the MCU right now. Poor old Kang. Obviously getting an arm wrestle with Doctor Doom there. But yes, I think we ultimately know who wins. It's going to be Doom, and he's going to end up in the MCU, and poor old Jonathan Majors and Kang relegated to the sidelines. So I was personally invested and would have liked to have seen the whole Kang storyline take off, but I just really think that they handled the character pretty badly. So we'll see if we'll get Kang back, I'm sure, at some point, whether it's recast or not. And then maybe they'll make him into a proper threat rather than, as I say, they went the easy route and fast-tracked Doctor Doom. But no one's complaining about seeing a Doctor Doom, real Doctor Doom on the movie. So there's another great cover here. Doombots on this one in issue 8. Possibly what could end up happening. There you go. You've got your half mask and your half mask on, half mask off Doctor Doom. Hopefully this light is not killing you too much. I might see if we can get it better. Is that slightly better for you? There you go. Half on, half off mask there. So maybe that issue will become a key one, given it'll probably play out very similar to that. And then to close us off on the first series of Doctor Doom, we've got issue 10. Probably the weakest of all the covers, I think, of actual Doom here. And again, maybe because it's not his usual. He's not looking menacing enough. He's obviously basking in the glory of Latveria. But yeah, that's probably the weakest of all the covers. But perhaps the best of all the covers that I've seen, particularly on the one-shot of this as well. This is the one-shot from, I think, last year. May even be this year. This is Doom #1 one-shot, as I say, story by Jonathan Hickman. This one was heavily spec'd on pre the MCU, but this is a variant cover, but it's a beautiful one. There is a non-trade dress version, which is, I think, the most pricey one to pick up. But when I saw this in here, I couldn't really turn down. Full set of Doctor Doom from a few years back, and then that great Doom title one-shot cover variant. in there. So I'm looking forward to reading those. So let me know what you think. Bell, those are great Doom covers. Thank you, mate. They are very good. As I say, it was a reasonably priced little lot. It wasn't super expensive. I was buying some more books anyway. So I felt like that was the way to go. Now, I'm about to show you this failed set of books that I picked up. Now, a bit of background on this one. I bought this lot because I saw a couple of books in there that I thought, wow, if they're in decent quality, there's some value in this. So I ended up overpaying. I'm going to tell you how much I paid. It was not my best choice. So around $300. Now, then I had to obviously get it shipped back from the UK. But this lot was, as I say, they looked like there were a couple of books in there, but it was a real mixed bag of books. Now, maybe I'll start with the books that I've sorted through that are actually staying in the PC. So the other books that I'm going to show you later are actually books that I will be either selling or giving away on the live stream. I'm probably going to end up giving them away because they are keys, but they're not so super high grade. But there's some really interesting books in there. But we will look at that. But for the time being, wanted to share with you these. So talking of Doom, we have issue 13 of Dr. Doom and the Submariner super villain team up. I don't have this one. It's not in great shape, as you can see here. It's got some spine ticks. It's definitely a reader copy. Features a Bill Mantlo and Keith Giffen story. So not a bad looking book. Great to be able to flick through and read this. And you have Doom underwater. Very reminiscent of Kirby style. And it's just great to see this classic. Look at that splash page. So loving getting this. As I say, this will complete the raw collection in terms of reader copies. It's always good to sort of pick up something which you can sort of just read through. I love just being able to go back and read through these Bronze Age books. So that's the first one. And so, as I say, most of these lower grade, but they'll run fillers in terms of the books that I don't have. This one's actually not too bad. It does have some spine ticks, but again, still a reader copy from my collection, but it will sort of round out the run. This is Captain Marvel number 38. It's a pence copy. So straight away, a little bit rarer than your standard copy here. But again, Steve Englehart and Al Milgrom on writing and artists with Klaus Janson art in this one. So there were some, as I say, pretty decent art. And it's funny to see how Jim Starlin's legacy and influence continued in this title, despite him not being on the book. And you can really see that in the art style that has been continued here. So it's very reminiscent, particularly this panel here, of the sort of work, these 4 panels, where it gives a real sense of that sort of Jim Starlin cosmic look there. But again, another one to add to the PC. Super happy to grab it. And again, you get to see Captain Marvel. And not too bad at all. This is reasonably good shape for Steve Englehart and Al Milgrom artwork here. So I'm not going to complain. I mean, generally, I think maybe the inks from Klaus Janson are really helping embellish our man Al Milgrom's art here, because Al Milgrom's art can be a bit hit and miss at times. But regardless, a good one to have. Then we have number 42 of Captain Marvel. This one again, art by Al Milgrom, story by Steve Englehart. But this time Frank Gottaccia on inks, and you can sort of see the difference. So I do think that there was a benefit of having Klaus Janson on inks, and maybe that was as the run started to sort of go down post Jim Starlin's issues. Oh, we have a little value stamp missing. There you go. That's not what you like to see, but regardless, it's a reader copy anyway. But the bane of all collectors, the missing value stamp. So someone somewhere has made use of that value stamp, but as I say, not a book that I'm going to be getting graded anytime soon. Another pence copy. Then we have number 61, getting towards the end of the run here. And again, this time, story by Doug Mensch and Pat Roderick on pencils. So we won't dig through. I don't think there was any value stamps in here. But there's a nice advert for Power Man and Iron Fist there. Always a pleasure to see that. So you get to see those classic titles. But yeah, not a bad little pickup there. Again, not in great shape. What I did find interesting is obviously these Son of Satans. These are the UK price variants. Got issue number 3, number 4, and number 5. And again, I think Gil Kane art on these for the most part. Don't have these ones as yet. Again, they're not in really high grade. As I say, we got issue 3, which rounds out my brief, albeit rerun. I think it was 5 issues in total for Son of Satan before it got cancelled. So yeah, completed the run with some nice reader copies here, and this sent copy for issue 5. Then we have Marvel Classic Comics. This is number 23, the pence variant of this one. Again, not in super great shape, but a good reader copy. So this is the novelization of Moonstone. So I'll give that a read. We did cover this in a recent Merry Monday Mailcall Show where I think Nate from Whole Year Comics was talking about these. It's a short run, I think around about 28 or 29 issues of various different novels and stories that were created basically to sort of make use of sort of things like Dracula, things like that. The H.G. Wells Time Machine did have some good talent on it, but it retells these novel stories. This one, let's see, who was it? Archie Goodwin, editor-in-chief. Story by... so the story, realistically, script and design, Don McGregor, Dino Castrillo, art. But yeah, just reanimating or retelling of these classic stories. May gonna get the set of these because there are some interesting ones. And I think I've got some original art of one of the stories. I need to double check where that is. It's been at a UK auction house for a while. We got a Captain Marvel 17. Nice bit of Silver Age there. This one's actually not too bad shape at all, given the rest of them. So obviously this book's been a little bit more looked after. But you get here, written by Arnold Drake, penciled by the illustrious Don Heck. Many of you, Don Heck's pencils are not really known for their massive fan base. But regardless, it's just, this one's a nice, this one's actually the one copy that I probably think we did okay with, featuring the Quasimodo in there. So I'm reasonably happy with this one. Don't think I'll get it graded, but it is a nice addition to the collection. It's got a great cover. Always liked that cover. Very dramatic, with the Quasimodo in the foreground. That's issue 7. We also have a copy of issue 3 with the scrolls there. This one's not in as good a shape, but still not terrible. So this one was a Roy Thomas story here, and Gene Colan as the artist. So a little bit more of a powerhouse team in this one, with the scrolls taking control. I think that's an early Carol Danvers in there, issue 3, I think. So before she became Ms. Marvel. But it's great to have this one. I think it's the Super Skrull, it looks like. So great little battle there. So yeah, not too shabby grabbing this one. Pretty happy with that. Nice little addition to the collection. And then on top of that, we have these collected editions that I didn't have. So these are essentially 1960s reprints, I think. So they're not in absolutely great shape as you'd expect. These were read, clearly read and enjoyed, which is how all comic books should be. But what we do get is a lot of reprints of early titles from different stories. So Captain America #4 from June 1941, reprint of that. Again, great to have this reprint in the collection, and a great one to read. And just look at that art. No wonder these sort of Golden Age books are sought after. It's fascinating to see how they realize that Captain America #4, again, another reprint of that Golden Age book. Then we have Strange Tales 82 reprinted, the thing called It. And classic Jack Kirby, I believe. Or is it Jack Kirby? Looks like Jack Kirby to me. Let's see. Doesn't say, but looks Jack Kirby. Absolutely. Strange Tales 98, They Vanished Forever. This. And I Am the Beast Man from Tales to Astonish #12. So if you can't afford your Tales to Astonish #12, grab one of these. And then Captain America and Ivan the Terrible from Captain America. I think, let's have a look. Captain America #4, June 1941. So that's a lovely little thing to add to the collection. And again, these are getting quite pricey, especially in higher grade. So to be able to pick them up as a reader copy, I'm really happy with. We have another Fantasy Masterpieces. Again, this will be much more, very similar to that vein. Captain America and the Red Skull, originally presented in Captain America #7. Just going back to classic comics for a minute, we had a couple of comments which unfortunately I missed. So Bell said, I just learned about Marvel Classic Comics series. There are some really cool titles in that series. The Alice in Wonderland one is considered a key. Yeah, absolutely. There's a few of them. As I say, it's piqued my interest. So I'll be going back and having a look through the Marvel Classic series. I think there was a Treasury as well from memory. But it'd be interesting to see. Interesting one to sort of collect that full set. And they're relatively cheap. I don't think they're very, I think you can find them in dollar bin boxes. Obviously, you're not going to get like super high grade, but equally, it's a great little collection to go hunting for in those dollar bin boxes, I think. So let's have a look at this one from the Golden Age of Marvel. This is issue 6 of Fantasy Masterpieces. And so we get, I like this new drawn area where it covers the different stories that you get. But it's great to see, obviously, Captain America #7, October 1941. Captain America and the Red Skull back in the day. So that's fantastic. And again, look at this art. It's absolutely phenomenal. Really happy to pick this up and get this and be able to read these Golden Age classics without any danger of destroying any book. Look at that. So Captain America 10, January 1942. Captain America, the Phantom Hound of Cardiff Moor. Just absolutely brilliant. Makes me want to go out and get myself a copy of Captain America #4. Not that I'll be able to afford it. Then we have Journey into Mystery 64. I found the Lair of the Lizard Men. Again, great to be able to check this out without having to go and get early issues of Marvel. I was trapped in the Chamber of Fear, originally presented in Tales of Suspense 33. Again, great. Believe that would have been a Stan Lee story. I need to go back and check, but just awesome to be able to pick this up. What's this story called? Germ Warfare, originally presented in Strange Tales 90. So the one thing you do miss is that first cover page or first splash page on these reprints. But nonetheless, they then present you at least with a represented artwork of the same piece of work. So whilst you don't get the original splash page and the credits, you at least get an interesting representation of the story intro. So that's pretty good. So yeah, I'm going to dig out a few more of these fantasy masterpieces. I quite like them because it is a decent way being able to read those Golden Age Marvel books, especially if you haven't any way of getting hold of them. So again, I may or may not have done too well. I've done quite well with this collection of books. I was just disappointed from the grade perspective, but I think from books that I needed for my collection, just the raw collection, I think I've done reasonably well. And speaking of reasonably well, these definitely are getting quite pricey. So this is a set of Marvel Tales. Now, if you get these in high grade, you're onto a winner. These are all square bound, these big books. But this is issue #3. And this retails Amazing Spider-Man. It's got Journey into Mystery. It's got Tales to Astonish and Strange Tales. So it's reprints of those classic stories. So Spider-Man #6 here. Get face to face with the Lizard. Steve Ditko, Stan Lee story. So it's great to be able to dig into this, read the story, see the origin of the Lizard here. And again, not as good as obviously having a Amazing Spider-Man #6, but great to be able to flick through. And what's good about it is you don't get the ads in this one, so at least you can just read the story straight through. Then we have Human Torch story from Strange Tales 101. So you get to see this, I think, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby story. And again, great to be able to read this at leisure. Journey into Mystery 84, Mighty Thor versus the Executioner. Let's just go back to that cover there. It's just really good to see this. Let's move this out of the way so you can see the books. But yeah, it's really, really interesting to see this artwork represented. And then we have the Astonishing Ant-Man. So this is from Tales to Astonish 38, Stan Lee script, Larry Lieber art, Jack Kirby inks. Interesting. But there you have it. Nice little. And again, unfortunately, you do get damage on this. So they're not in great shape. But nevertheless, I'm really happy to pick that up and have that. Not sure if there's any key. Obviously, these aren't really key books, but they are sought after as a way to be able to read these classic tales. This one's in slightly better shape, as you can see. Let's go through this one as well, give you a sense of what's inside. So as you can see, this one's in slightly better shape. This is issue 4. So again, the Vulture returns. You got Journey into Mystery, Strange Tales, and Tales to Astonish again. Spider-Man 7, The Return of the Vulture. I do love these little sort of pages, intro pages, telling you what stories are in there. Obviously recreated artwork specifically for that page. So that's interesting. Be good one to grab the original art on those, to be honest. So, and as you can see, this is not in too bad shape. Obviously, we've got some crease into the corners. But yeah, I'm reasonably happy with this one. Stan Lee, Steve Ditko story. The Return of the Vulture is obviously did quite well. I think Web Shooters there on the left-hand side. And you can see Steve Ditko's art is really settling in at this point in terms of telling the story of Spider-Man and really starting to get into his stride. I'm loving this. Being able to read Amazing Spider-Man in the format it was presented. Brilliant to see that in the Marvel comic books. Then we have Strange Tales 102, Prisoner of the Wizard, Human Torch story. Again, great to be able to go through this. Always loved when the Human Torch did that. Could power off part of his body to stop hurting people. Fascinating that they came up with that. Hopefully we'll see maybe a bit of that in the new Fantastic Four movie, which incidentally just had its synopsis released. And yes, they have confirmed Silver Surfer is female, Shalabal. So I'll be interested to see how they handle that. I still think Silver Surfer is Norrin Rad traditionally. I don't really think, unless they do something interesting in the story, I'm sort of like questioning why you would need to change it in the first place, but we'll see. Here we have Thor the Mighty. So this is Journey into Mystery 86 on the trailer Tomorrow Man. Again, I think this is Jack Kirby, Stan Lee story. But you really get great to see this. Let's see. And then Ant-Man, Inventions of the Scarlet Beetle, originally presented in Tales to Astonish, issue 39. Again, Stan Lee script, Larry Lieber art, Jack Kirby inks. Oh no, tell a lie. Jack Kirby art, script by Larry Lieber, and plot by Stan Lee, and inks by Dick Ayers. So on that Marvel Tales 3, that's the same thing. Very unclear there, the way they've done that, or maybe my reading's terrible. But great nonetheless to see this. Yeah, super happy with that. Nice looking copy. Nice looking copy to add to the collection there. Then we have issue 5. I'm starting to see a pattern here. These also, if you notice, they're cent variants, but they also have what we call the UK price stamp, not the UK price. So some books were distributed in the UK. They were cent variants. And rather than print at the time, they would have these stamps. So you get to see so it's very interesting distinction. You have UK priced variants, which were created specifically for the UK market. And then you have UK price stamped copies, which were essentially the US copies, but stamped for sale in the UK. And that's what these ones are. So if someone says price stamp, this is what you're looking for. And if someone says price variant, that's an actual proper price original copy created specifically for the UK market. So here we have Marvel Tales number 5. Again, not in the best of shape, but still great to have this. We've got a copy of a reprint of Spider-Man versus Living Brain, Spider-Man number 8, Amazing Spider-Man number 8. So it's great to see this reprint. Let's just go through it very slowly because it is a great issue. All those early Spider-Mans were fantastic and deserve for me to slowly go through them. But fantastic as regardless. Watch Marvel superheroes on TV. And yeah, all in all, great to see this. Then we have another Human Torch story presented from Strange Tales 103. I'll skim through this quickly. You get the idea. A Thor story. So we get to see Journey into Mystery 87. And as you'd expect, you get 88 next issue. And, interestingly, we do get Tales to Astonish 51. Wonderful Wasp tells a tale, which is an interesting one where she tells a tale. She's the start of the character, but it's actually a separate story altogether. Nice advertisement there for the new superheroes. Saturdays on CBS with Superman. And then we have an astonishing Ant-Man tale from Tales to Astonish 40. And then last but two, let's just quickly open this one up. Last one in this mix is Marvel Tales number 6. Let's move this out of the way. Marvel Tales number 6. Again, not the best looking shape, but still not falling apart. We get the first Electro, I believe, Spider-Man number 9, Amazing Spider-Man number 9. So that's good. Let's just run through this slowly for you. But this is great to see this. Ditko really got in his stride here. And Human Torch meets Paste Pot Pete. So interestingly, you don't get the Doctor Strange story, you just get the Paste Pot Pete story from Strange Tales 104. Not sure if I would have preferred to have the Doctor Strange story in here. Again, that is one of the most sad moments in, I think, one of the worst covers for a first appearance. Obviously focusing on this story rather than the Doctor Strange story, which feels a bit crazy. We've got A Voice in the Dark from Tales of Astonish 57. Again, another story there. And then Journey into Mystery 87. Once again, Loki, the most dangerous of the Norse gods, returns to give the mighty Thor his greatest challenge. The return of Loki. Great to see that from Journey into Mystery 87. Awesome. Very, very cool to see that. And then, in addition, there are a couple of scary tales. I won't go through these, but these are classic sort of Charlton horror, but not great looking quality. Reader copies at best, but still pick up Charltons whenever I can. So one copy, issue 35 of Scary Tales, and issue 44 of Scary Tales. So with that, I've got like another 10 minutes. I'll take you through the books that I already have in the collection, but didn't make the cut because obviously grey. But I will think about how I'm going to distribute these, what I'm going to do with them. But I may do a giveaway. We'll see how we go. Maybe not this week, maybe next week. There are some key issues in here that are quite interesting to go through. And I'll share those with you. Oh dear, we've got a sticky. That's why you don't use those sealable bags. You have to be very careful getting your books in and out. Luckily, these are, I wouldn't say low grade, and I don't care about them, but still don't want to completely destroy them. But as I say, you just need to be a bit careful with these so you don't get tape pulls. Anyway, back to it. So we have Marvel Comics Presents Wolverine number 1. This is a great Oh, let's open this up. As I say, very much a low-grade reader, this. But fantastic Walt Simonson cover across the front and back of the comic book with Wolverine, Swamp Thing, Silver Surfer, and the Master of Kung Fu, Shang-Chi. So I picked that one up. Again, a duplicate. I do have that book. Managed to find this one. This is the first appearance of Apocalypse. Again, not super high grade, but still good to have this. So I'll be giving this away at some point, I think. And there's the man himself, Apocalypse there. So enjoy seeing that. Have the first Horseman of the Apocalypse in X Factor. As you can see, that they're not great, but still a good first appearance to own. The first appearance of Archangel in this one, which is bizarre considering issue 24 is the one that gets all the love. As you can see here, this is the first appearance of Archangel. And why that doesn't get the love is predominantly because of that cover. But yeah, issue 24 is the one that everyone hunts for. So yes, this is an interesting one to take into account. But yeah, nice little set of X Factor keys there for your edification and delight. As I say, I'll probably do something, a little bit of a giveaway. That might do a giveaway of that Wolverine book, set of those. We've got this Doctor Strange. I'm going to keep this. This was an interesting one for me. I'm going to keep this. This is going to go into the PC pile because I don't think I have this. But what I didn't realize is that these two issues here where he faces off against Galactus and Galactus's Herald Nova is Roy Thomas' story. So looking forward to reading that. Roy Thomas, as you know, I recently interviewed him. Obviously still writing way up until the 90s. So this is from 1992. So we'll put that into the PC and enjoy that. We have another Marvel Tales here, which is a duplicate. So again, we've just gone through this, but I will be giving this away at a later date. Then we dig into, let's start with Captain Marvel 34. This is the issue with Nitro. I think it's one of the last issues. It is the last. It's the last issue by Jim Starlin, I think, before he left the run. It's a Pence copy as well to boot. So that might transfer over into the PC one because I'm collecting the standard variants and the standard variants and the other and the price variants to go with each. But as I say, this is essentially the storyline that leads to the death of Captain Marvel. I think the explosions from Nitro are apparently give him radiation poisoning, and so that's how he ends up getting ill in the death of Captain Marvel. So it's a reasonably minor key in that regard. So we'll see how we go with that one. But again, it's everything artwork by Jim Starlin, writing by Jim Starlin, and pretty much, the last issue in the series, and he's integral if you're a Captain Marvel fan or follow the story. When it comes to this war, we have Captain Marvel number 15. This is a Pence edition. Again, I need to check this against my collection, but you can see here it's script and breakdowns by Gary Friedrich, pencils by Tom Sutton. Early Captain Marvel issue. Again, I don't know if I have a Pence copy, but it's just a great one. I will be either giving this away at some point. Then we have a whole bunch of Thor issues. Now, these, again, I've already have copies of these, and these are reasonably low grade. These two in particular had massive spine rolls, so I've put them in here, reset the spines, and as you can see side by side, this is the first appearance of Mangog, issue 154 and issue 152. So again, those will probably be given away. We've got an issue 151, not a UK edition, a UK stamp edition. We have an issue 148, the first appearance of the Wrecker. This will be going up for grabs at some point. We have a pence edition of issue 145. Again, this will be going up for giveaway at a certain point. We've got a 10D UK price variant issue of the Grown Man. This one's actually not in too bad shape. Need to check that against my other copy. Again, if it's a pence variant, I may not end up giving this away. I may end up putting it alongside the US cent variant if I don't already own a pence variant. Regardless, one of the books, if it becomes available, will go into the giveaway. Similarly, we've got issue 139 of Thor, again, pence edition. We've got a Journey into Mystery 122, not in the best of shape, but still pence edition with that great Odin cover there. We have another Fantasy Masterpieces. I do already have a copy of Fantasy Masterpieces number 7. So again, this one will probably go into the giveaway bin. Classic Golden Age stories there. We've got a Marvel Collector's Edition, which has Fantastic Four 7, Strange Tales 111, and Incredible Hulk number 4, and Tales of Suspense 41. So again, I've got another one of these. So this will probably go in the giveaway at some point. Another Marvel Collector's Edition. So we get, I think it's issue 5 of the Incredible Hulk. We've got the classic issue for Fantastic Four 13. Let's see what else we have in this one. Tales of Suspense 44. Strange Tales 117. There you have it. So again, that one will be going. And then to finish off, this one's probably the one with the most value. This is Marvel Superheroes 377. This is the first. It's basically the first new Captain Britain. So this is the first time that Alan Davis drew the character, and it was the relaunch of Captain Britain with his new suit. You can see that here. So this one's quite the title. I think it's the first appearance of Mad Jim Jaspers too, which went on to be a major character. Jackdaw. I also think, yeah, it's certainly an interesting one. Not as great as the classic Alan Moore issues, but again, that one's a relatively key issue. And part of the reason why I picked it up, it's in not bad shape, but again, not super high grade that I was hoping for. But nonetheless, great to have this early part of the Captain Britain run. So you got 378 of Marvel Superheroes, 381. I think 381, one of them is the first Saturn, and I think this is the first cover Saturn. This one is actually in pretty good shape, considering. And this one's quite the issue that you want to try and grab hold of. I think because of that fact. But yeah, again, great issues. 383. And to close us off, 384. That's it, my friends. It's been absolutely great having you on the show again today. Let's get this camera down. It's been great having you on the show today. Let's see if I can get myself back in focus. There, I think we're in focus. Let's see. There you go. I will go back and check this camera and try and work out what's going on with it. But it's been great having you. I hope you had a good show. Hope you enjoyed the books. Look forward to giving some of these away to you all over the next coming weeks. Let me know in the chat or in the comments what you think of the books, what books you're looking for. If there are any of those that you would really like to get your hands on, give me a shout out. And with that, I will let you all have enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all next week. Take care of yourselves. See you soon.